How many remember Wu Wear clothing? In the early 90s, Wu Wear was the first streetwear company launched and owned by a rap group. And not just any old rap group, one of the biggest of that time, both in popularity and sheer member numbers. Wu Tang Clan. Wu Tang had long been innovators within the hip hop culture, whether it came to their music, their style, or their lingo. Before the masses were draping themselves in popular streetwear brands like Supreme, V-Lone, and Bape, Wu Wear occupied that space within the community. Their impact was worldwide. Each article of clothing was designed to showcase the most iconic logo in the history of hip-hop, the infamous Wu Tang W, which combined their love for kung fu movies and rap music. But over the decades, the brand that was once the main representative of rap culture has fallen off its throne. But why exactly? What caused one of the most popular clothing lines in the culture to suddenly lose its luster? Well, let's find out. I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and this is the rise and fall of Wu Wear, demise of hip-hop's first streetwear empire. But before we get started, please take a second to stop and hit that like button for me. Liking and commenting and sharing these videos is really the only way to get the YouTube algorithms to notice us. I don't know, it can be kind of weird. It's like one week they like you, the next week they don't. So if you guys want to see us continue to grow, then we need your help with this. And don't forget to show some love to our sponsor, us. At TakeFlight214.com, we offer tons of exclusive artwork, custom pieces, and apparel, hats, t-shirts. It's really something for everybody. But with all that being said and out of the way, let's dive into this story. The legend of Wu Wear begins in the early 90s when the Wu Tang Clan exploded onto the hip-hop scene with their groundbreaking debut album, Enter the Wu Tang, 36 Chambers, in 1993. With their raw energy, kung fu references, and lyrical mastery, they built a loyal fan base pretty much in no time. But having so many members is a gift and a curse. On the one hand, yeah, there's plenty of people to bounce inspiration off of. But on the other hand, they had what seemed like hundreds of mouths to feed. So from the early days, their de facto leader, RZA, was always on the lookout for new ways to earn. This is when RZA's childhood friend and Clan's executive producer, Oliver Power Grant, pitched the idea of a Wu Tang clothing line. RZA liked it, and in 1995, Wu Wear was born. On a side note, shout out to April Walker because she really did start a trend with the whole this wear or that wear thing. But anyway, while the idea of hip hop clothing lines might not be groundbreaking today, Wu Wear predated many of the other brands that we've already covered on the channel, like Sean John, Fat Farm, and Rocawear. Initially, the Wu Wear line was sent out by mail order only, but Wu Tang was buzzing so much in the culture in those days that it didn't take long before everybody wanted a piece. And soon after, the brand was picked up by Macy's, Rich's, and Demo all across North America, adding to Wu Tang's already huge cultural visibility. What made Wu Wear unique is its authenticity. It wasn't just some corporate brand slapping a rapper's name on it. This was Wu Tang making clothes for the streets, by the streets. At a time when high-end brands like Tommy Hilfiger and Polo were popular in hip-hop, Wu Wear brought something new. Authentic street fashion from a rap group that lived and breathed the culture. The brand started out with hoodies, t-shirts, and jackets, all featuring the Wu Tang logos or their slogans. And during a time where so many brands were trying to capture the essence of rap, here was a brand that directly connected. Suddenly, hip-hop fashion wasn't just about wearing brands. It was about supporting the artists who made the art. By the late 90s, Wu Wear wasn't just a clothing line. It was a full-on phenomenon. Wu Tang Clan's second album, Wu Tang Forever, dropping in 1997, debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts, and their influence was bigger than ever. The brand expanded internationally, selling out in Japan and Europe. Celebrities, athletes, hip-hop legends, everybody all wanted to be seen wearing their stuff. The success was undeniable at that point. Wu Tang had done something that no other rap group before them had fully been able to accomplish. create a self-sustaining fashion empire alongside their music. By the early 2000s, Wu wear was generating millions and proving that artists could control both their sound and their style. So if Wu wear was so successful, why did it disappear? Well, there's actually a few key factors that led to their decline. For one, it was long rumored that one of the group's most popular members, Method Man, never really supported the design direction. And although this was never confirmed by either Met or any of the other members, some have speculated that his launching of his own brand, Johnny Blaze, which is another one that we'll have to cover at some point, was proof of this. But who knows? I mean, from the start, RZA was always trying to get the guys to understand the importance of diversification, so maybe that was never really an issue. Another factor was the early 2000s saw a shift in street fashion. Brands like Rocawear, Sean John, and Fat Form, also backed by artists and huge commercial appeal, took over market share. There was also issues with distribution too. As hip-hop fashion became more corporate, Wu wear struggled to maintain its retail presence. Stores began phasing it out in favor of newer, more fresher brands. And without a strong online presence at the time, Wu wear slowly faded from the shelves. In 2008, Power, the CEO of the line, noticed an issue with counterfeiters. So to combat this, he named it Wu Tang brand. I mean, hey, don't ask me how that could have possibly solved anything, but he thought it was a good idea. But whatever the name, Wu wear was no longer the powerhouse that it once was. The brand never officially shut down, but its presence in mainstream fashion became almost non-existent. Despite its decline, Wu wear's influence never disappeared. It laid the groundwork for modern artist-driven brands like Yeezy, OVO, and Billionaire Boys Club. In many ways, Wu wear was ahead of its time, proving that rappers could control not just their music, but their merch, long before today's streetwear culture made it the norm. But Wu wear wasn't completely dead. In 2017, they made a comeback, relaunched by RZA and Power in conjunction with Live Nation. They came back with a fresh take on classic designs. The brand returned with updated fits, modern graphics, and a nod to its legendary past. The revival brought in a whole new generation of fans while still appealing to those who lived through the original Wu wear era. Today, Wu wear is still around. Their website is still up and they're releasing new pieces. But the thrill of the past seems to be gone. While the reboot did gain some traction, the streetwear industry had changed drastically. Tons of newer, more evolved brands had taken the spotlight, and getting back on top was a tall order for Wu wear. Regardless if they ever make it back to the top of the heap again, the brand remains a symbol of hip-hop history. And for many, Wu wear will always represent an era where Wu-Tang Clan was more than music. Wu wear paved the way for hip-hop fashion, and it set the stage for artist-led clothing lines that came after it. And for that reason alone, I personally think Wu wear is forever. But what do you think? Were you a fan of Wu wear back in the day? Do you think that they can make a comeback? Hit us up in the comment section and let us know. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, as always, don't forget to hit the like button. Liking, commenting, and sharing all of these videos is the best way to get the YouTube algorithms to pay attention to us and put us up there so that we can grow a bit more. Also, if you enjoy these types of videos and you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell so that you can be reminded when each new episode drops. But with all that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out. Until next time, peace.